Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be continuing to take a look at a scenario where civilization starts over. This is episode 8, and in the last episode we saw the creation of the East Anglian Union, the creation of a whole bunch of new city-states over in Spain, as well as the Great Irish War, which I will talk about some lore here soon. Now, if you do enjoy this video, make sure to hit that like button and consider subscribing, as my goal by the end of the month is 500 subscribers. We could get there, but in the last week it slowed down, so I don't have 100% faith, but there's still a good chance we can get there. But without further ado, let's just get started in this video. Like I said in the intro, there's going to be some lore with the Irish War. You can call it whatever you want, like the Irish Coalition or something, I don't really know. But you can make up your name. But as we saw, the blue team, or the blue alliance, which I'm not going to say alliance, we'll just say teams, because they didn't really have alliances shown on the alliance layer. But the blue alliance, but the blue team did end up winning the war, and the North Irish Union completely collapsed. This country was spat out of it. Its neighbors got a bunch of land, especially this one, and it is now quite small. However, what we did see with this is a bunch of people from the red team in any of these red team countries left, and they landed in the cities of Liverpool and Blackpool. I kind of have to turn on this minor city layer, but this is Blackpool, this is Liverpool, and this country has at least doubled, probably tripled in population due to all of the people coming this way. We also saw that a bunch of people from the same alliance came from into Cumbria and other nations. They probably also came to some of these small Welsh countries. But this is going to absolutely load up the Blue Alliance over here with countries. I do have to address this. This country, I said they were friendly, they went to war. I didn't realize that I put them in the same alliance, the same episode, so wrong layer. So just pretend that they were never in that alliance, and in fact we are going to see that they are going to add a new member to the alliance, and that is the purple team, because they helped this team defeat them. Now we are going to see a few more countries join some of these alliances, and let's talk about that right here. So in the Green Alliance, we are going to see that some of these small countries in between all of these nations are going to join the Green Alliance. It is going to be these three, actually. It's not going to be this one, but it's going to be these three that is kind of touching. And in the Blue Alliance, we see that they are going to add South Wales. We also see military support coming from Normandy, so they're just going to go ahead and join the alliance. As we can see, the old Cornish government still exists. They are in the Green Alliance. We also see over in France, these two nations on the border of the South English Union, they are going to join the Blue Alliance as well, because they are terrified of this South English Union, because if you know anything about the South English Union, they are quite expansionist, and they're probably going to invade them soon. And a show of their unity to come together to get rid of the South English Union, they're just going to unite. And to start off this war, it is going to happen in Liverpool, like I was talking about at the beginning. They are super powerful right now because of all the population that they got, and people from the red team seeking revenge, but in a different location, kind of. It doesn't really make a whole bunch of sense, but yeah, they are going to kind of invade into this Midlands country, and they're going to have quite a strong start for how small they are. I would like to say though, before I continue, that because of all of the people moving here, we are going to see a new sub-ethnicity of the Welsh ethnicity, which is going to be the Scouse ethnicity. And again, before I continue, we are going to see a few things happen with these small countries between everything over here. First of all, we are going to see that these three countries will join this weird colored team, as well as these two. In this deal, they will be given a bunch of autonomy, but it's just going to be for the purpose of making their fighting easier. Two countries that we see join a different country, which is obviously the South English Union, is going to be this one and this one. Yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory there. But instead of saying, oh, you get more autonomy, they're going to threaten them, and obviously they're scared, so they're just going to join. And this country is going to join Wales because they're slightly closer to the Welsh ethnicity, but they're kind of split in half. Oh, also this orange one will also join Wales. We do see that Wales, in fact, is going to begin their invasion of the Midlands. They can do this quite easily, not necessarily towards the red team borders, but more to the north and the central part of their country. And pretty much the Midlands were not expecting this, and it just kind of surprised them, and that's why they're kind of falling so quickly. We see that even the unstable kind of country of Yorkshire is going to invade in here. Now, they're not really that unstable. They're just kind of got a lot of land very quickly. They're okay with being part of them, though, so there's not like any rebellions per se. It's just not fully incorporated yet. So Cumbria is going to focus strictly on this country out of the 3 city-states that they are going to invade, and this is going to be very easy for them to take over. It is not very strong. And we see that the purple team is going to focus on these southern 2 countries, and they kind of really aren't that popular right here, so it's pretty easy for them to take over this area. But yeah, it's safe to say that they're not going to exist any longer. So now we see the north areas out of the war already. Now moving over to East Anglia, we see that they're going to be easily defeated by the South English Union. They are not weak whatsoever. They are probably one of the strongest, if not the strongest countries in the world right now. And they are not messing around. They're kind of just going to follow the coast and get to these minor cities, taking over just everything that they can, seeing what they can get, just like easily taking over a lot of land. And we also see this in this little union right here. It is not very strong. It just incorporated, and it's really not that strong. They're not going to be able to do anything right now, but they're going to hold off for their independence for just a little bit. However, that's really the only thing that the green team is succeeding to do, as we see the Scouse country continue to invade south into the Midlands, because the Midlands are still just like unprepared. They don't really have much of an army in the first place, because they're like, we're so powerful, people are going to be intimidated by us, they're not going to go to war with us. But obviously, look what's happening now. And this seems kind of surprising, because you would think they're kind of already strong, and yes, you're right. However, we are going to see something that is going to kind of change the tides of the war, which is like very interesting. So the French Union is going to join on the blue team. They're not going to have any fighting in France, because obviously the only green team member in France is all the way over here. They don't border it, and they don't really have a navy, but they are going to send all of their support, as well as this country, up to these blue nations. Now, it's quite far, but we are going to see a landing make place over here in the Isle of Wight, and they're going to take it over really quickly. Now, this is absolutely terrifying for the South English Union, because their capital city is literally right there. Now, they are going to focus on protecting the Isle of Wight while making a new offensive and naval landing somewhere else that they kind of didn't expect. And this is going to be in this region, the Cornish region, and this is probably one of the most unstable parts of the country, and they are just going to advance in here as best as they can. Now, these 2 landings are not the only landings that were attempted. Many landings were attempted, but these were the only 2 real successful ones. And well, this invasion color is going to change colors, because this is going to be the new rebellion in the South English Union. And they're going to spearhead straight up to the, I don't know what this is, but it's something. And they're going to just like cut this off and secure this location. Now, a lot of these areas are quite unhappy with being in the South English Union, because they feel they're not getting enough autonomy. The South English Union is quite expansionist and quite a centralized government with a very powerful king, and they feel like this is kind of stupid, and they're going to actually siege the old capital of this country. Now, this country is not involved in this because they are on the side of the South English Union, but this is going to be a completely new Cornish country from the original starting location and starting like everything in the first episode. But this is going to completely kick the South English Union out of the tip of Cornwall, even going into the Scilly Isles. Yes, they're called the Scilly Isles. No, it's not spelled silly, but it's quite silly. In the Midlands, it's not looking any better, obviously. Their capital is going to be sieged, and yeah, it's This whole entire war has been absolutely tragic for the Green Alliance, as the Midlands capital is going to be completely taken over. And yeah, let's take a look at the current occupation of the Midlands. And it's going to look something like this for now. Now, taking a look back at East Anglia, they are going to finally be able to push against the South English Union. As we can see, South English Union is completely collapsing, and this is not good for them whatsoever. It's looking not good. As we see, all of their land is given back, and advancements all the way into here will take place. The Normandy country and the Central French Union are going to finally make an actual landing in the mainland of this country and completely encircle their capital city, and after many months of siege, it is going to be taken over. The Welsh are going to occupy this land, and ultimately the rest of the country is going to completely fall. And yes, we see that this land by this country is going to occupy the French areas. Now let's take a look at the peace treaty. Again, this is a quick look at what the British Isles looks like before the war. And here's the peace treaty. First off, let's look at France. This country gets this land. It's pretty much the region of Calais. Moving up north, the orange country will get this country, and then the purple country will get these parts of these countries. The Scouse country will get the rest of these lands of this country, and quite a lot of population-wise land in the Midlands. A new Welsh country will appear, and the Welsh country will at least double their size. They get this country, this land, this country, and this land. And the new Cornish country will look like this. Now this Yorkshire country is going to have a lot of land gained. It is going to take a bunch of these city-states here, as well as this land in the Midlands. Not a whole lot in the Midlands, but they did just get a lot of countries. This country will go ahead and get this land from this little country. The purpose is because I don't want too much border gore, but this land will join up with East Anglia, and so will this. Two of some of the OG countries will come back with Oxford and Kent. And the rest of this land will remain the South English Union, but it is no longer a union. It's kind of just like Hampshire. And that, for you guys, was the Bretonic War. I did get a bunch of suggestions from this guy on Discord. His username is Pool, but I don't know if he has a YouTube channel. But if you are on my Discord server, you would probably see him typing around a little bit. He's pretty prevalent there. And like I said, a lot of ideas with this whole Scouse thing came from him. So if I do find that he does have a YouTube channel, I will put it in the description. So make sure to check that out if he does. Alright, so with that conflict over with, we see immediately these city-states are going to go ahead and join up with their neighbors just so that they don't immediately get destroyed in the next war, or if they just get invaded. We are now going to look at the capital / major city layer, and we're going to see a few more minor cities be upgraded to major cities. This is going to be quite a few, so I'm just going to go over them quickly. So first up we have Liverpool, Blackpool, which both of these are from the Irish immigration from the Great Irish War. York, a city that I could not find a proper name of because there's no cities right here. Lasai, also a unique location for the old Cornish team. This looks like Angers, but I don't know. I don't think it's in the right location, and I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. We have Nantes, Bordeaux, Calais, Inverness, Hartlepool, Whitehaven, Pembroke, Oxford, Kirkcaldy, Gloucester, Blackrock, Lurgan, and Duncannon. Now that we're done with that, let's take a look at the explored layer. So we have the whole of Iberia explored, as well as a lot of Poland. And because no one lives in Poland yet, we see that a bunch of people from all over, especially these unincorporated places, are going to move here and create their own country, which will look something like this, making it by far the largest country in the world. Actually, not quite. I think Scotland's bigger. Either way, it's absolutely massive, and a lot of people are living here, although most of them are living not in like the super populated... What? It is quite populated, although most people are incorporated in towns, and it's really not that densely populated. However, we see immediately there is going to be a major city right here. It's quite big, and this is going to act as its capital. But it is also going to have another major city over on the coast. And it is going to have another capital city on the coast. Sorry, I meant major city. And here is all of its cities and everything like that. Now the tribes around it, especially to the west of this Polish country, are going to say, we hate this country, and we are going to come together in agreement that we hate this country and create our own country. And here it is, something that we noticed, there is a green country in the middle. These people are more incorporated with the government style / liking of the Polish team, and they are going to refuse to join up with this team, which we will call the Prussian team. I think I already said that, but they refuse to join up with them. And a major issue that this Prussian country is going to have is that their capital city is on this side of this little country, and it's kind of awkward to get from this side to this side or vice versa, because they have to cross this island first. And they are quite upset, so they're going to go ahead and send an invasion through here and saying, we demand this land so that we don't have to cross your country. And they're like, you know what, whatever. And actually conflict solved, because they're just going to incorporate this land into their country, and this country is going to still exist. Going up here into Scotland, we have them exploring out here and finding these islands, which I don't really know how to pronounce the name of this island chain, but they're going to discover it. And obviously the Scottish team is going to take them over and incorporate them into part of their country. Now looking over at this Spanish region, we are going to see that there is going to be a few wars over here, because why not? And most of these wars were insignificant, so I just went ahead and done all of the insignificant ones. But one significant one is that this blue team is going to invade into this lime team. It's only significant because these are both some of the bigger countries in this region, and yeah, the lime team just got folded. We will see that this large country in the southern part of, I guess you would call this Granada, they're going to unite all of these people. Same situation with how Poland formed, but it's going to be in Granada, or Andalusia, whatever you want to call this region. And same situation here in Portugal, but we are going to see a few new smaller countries created over here. And it will look something like this. Don't worry, I will add capital cities and major cities later, but I do not have time because I am finishing up this recording, because I'm actually re-recording this because I didn't like how it was. And that is part of the reason why I have delayed this episode for so long. Anyway, let's move over to the Levant. And we see that the Judea country is going to discover Egypt, and this is going to be a major discovery because this is a very fertile land. And we do see that Judea is going to capture all of this land all the way down south here. However, they become a little bit unstable, so they're not going to expand anymore. We do see that there's going to be some people moving over here though. And we see here that a bunch of new duchies are going to form up here. and they're quite weak, but they are going to make the Levant / this area, I can't really just call it the Levant anymore. It is quite populated now, and there are a bunch of new countries. And I would like to say at this point there's going to be a bit of a mass migration all throughout the world over to these areas, like especially to like India and China, but I'm just not going to cover it, and I'm just going to show the explored layer for people that are going to create countries and not just be nomadic. So for now, this is what the world looks like. And at this point, we're going to have a big asteroid hit Earth. And what's going to happen with this? It's going to rattle the Earth a little bit, and we see that the arrow C is going to look like this. I just kind of wanted to fix this, make it look a little bit different than how it did. And as the final event of the video, we are going to see a South Irish Union. It is going to be from this country, and it is going to include this country to its north, this blue country, and this darkish color country. And now we have the new Irish Union. And that is actually going to do it for today's video. Thank you for watching. I apologize for the long wait. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.